So, if you like your first-person shooters to be more down-to-earth, more grounded, with a faster time to kill, slower player movement, features like suppression and stamina, you want your gaming experience to be more realistic. Let's say you know what Mil-Sim is short for, Military Simulator. You probably play and love the games I do. Your Squad, Postscriptum, Hell Let Loose. Then you've more than likely have heard the news that has recently rocked the Mil-Sim community. And that is the fact that just the other day, emotes in the form of microtransactions were announced for the game Squad. And the community is torn. Everybody seems to have their 2 cents to add. But from what I've been seeing on comments and forums and even direct messages, most of these people just clearly don't have the full story. And no shame on them. A lot of these players are a year or 2 years into the game, or newer than that. I'm sure a lot of you have seen Big Fry's video, and I really do love what he had to say. And if you haven't seen his video, I think you should check it out. However, in the beginning, he claimed he was playing devil's advocate, and like he said, there are 2 sides of the coin. Basically, in summary, he brought up the very real fact that these video games are not cheap to make, and especially in a small, new, growing niche like Mil-Sims, it's not exactly easy peasy to keep the lights on at the developer office. They need streams of revenue, sure, but now allow me to go a bit into depth on the other side of the coin. Why exactly a lot of people are upset, and the very real reasons they have to be. I've been playing Squad since before there were vehicles, and I'm going to let you in on a bit of history. I'm going to tie it all in with the present situation, and I think by the end of this video, I think you'll understand at least a little bit why a lot of these veteran players now fret for the game that they love and have been so passionate about for the past half a decade. That cat came to chest. Emotes? Emotes? Oh my gosh! We're all gonna die! My beloved game is dead. It's over. Dead game. Yeah, people are freaking out, but I guarantee you, the ones you see freaking out have been playing this game as long as I have or longer. So as the vast majority of you already know, Squad began as a passion project. There was a little game called Project Reality. It was a mod of Battlefield 2, which turned that arcadey experience into a very realistic, visceral, hardcore military simulator. It's been well over a decade since that mod started, and it still gets updates to this day. In fact, pretty much every single mechanic and feature that you've come to love that makes these Mil-Sims, Squad, Postscriptum, Hell Let Loose what they are, like FOBs, rally points in Squad, to OPs and garrisons in Hell Let Loose. The punishing suppression and a stamina system that makes it so being on defense actually gives you an advantage. These are all things Project Reality brought to the first-person shooter genre, and its legacy is cemented in time. But there's one thing about Project Reality that a lot of new gamers, and even gamers like myself, couldn't get over, and that's the fact that it's on a 20-year-old graphics engine. Albeit, knowing that it's that old, it's rather drop-dead gorgeous. But saying all that to say, many of these modders dreamed of something new, something more immersive. Thus, you had the birth of Offworld Industries in the game Squad, a passion project. It was kickstarted by a slew of Project Reality fans, and my favorite game and development company was born since Rareware and the old Nintendo 64 games. Yeah, the company that made GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie. And of course, they set out to make the game we all love today. And what you must understand is, just about every single one of those modders gone developers that birthed Squad in Offworld Industries are no longer with the company. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's just no passion left in it. It's just a business. And sure, I mean, it needs to be if it wants to survive. So very recently, as a lot of you may know, the huge video game company Tencent made an investment with Offworld Industries. And since that has happened, the developers at OWI have pushed out everything they said they were going to push out. All the content like the People's Liberation Army. Now, granted, something most of you probably don't know, the PLA was in a roadmap as far back as 2019. So technically, this was content that has been promised to us for almost 5 years. So the developers at OWI completed what was promised to us. They put out everything that they had announced, and the very first thing they do after getting a huge backing from the guys behind PUBG, Tencent, the very first thing they do they put out some new maps, some new content, maybe some new game mechanics, some cool features? No, the very first thing they do under their moniker is announce the implementation of emotes via microtransactions. And you see, oh, you say, it's a business, it needs to make money. Sure, but it's kind of getting off on the wrong foot, for lack of a better phrase. These are soulless corporations. Their only concern is revenue, clearly. And granted, if you were to put several $1,000,000 into something, I would imagine you would want to see something coming back as quick as possible. So I've gotten a lot of comments, DMs. What do I think about this? Oh, this is a slippery slope. And sure, I agree. However, I do want this game to survive, so I'm a bit torn. But then there's other things that raise a red flag. For instance, like I said, pretty much everyone who was really in the development team making this game for the love, the day ones, not a single one of them remains on the development team. And the worst of it all, like the lead guy, the CEO that just came on recently, is known for and has a past making mobile games. Yeah, you can't make this crap up. I hope I don't have to go into why this is a potentially bad thing. To sum it up, mobile games are generally known to simply milk the wallet of the gamer. Even the best ones are plagued with microtransactions and even pay-to-win gameplay. So clearly, this guy was put in place to make money. Again, I get it, but you're talking about Bay here. It's kind of like came in, tied me to the couch, and put my girl out on the corner. So sure, you got these creators like Big Fry breaking it down. And let me start by saying I loved his video. Makes a lot of sense. For those of you that didn't see it, he basically broke down how much it costs to keep one of these games going. And when you see profit margins up to near 100 million, know that the vast majority of that pretty much spoken for right off the top. And once salaries are paid, pretty much in debt again. And that's the conundrum we face. We have to understand that we are in a niche here. My longtime viewers will know I have nothing but faith in this milsim genre. Like I've said many times before, we have this massive influx of gamers who are playing their fart knives and Call of Duties that are slowly maturing, and like ourselves, are soon going to begin to look for a more satisfying, more rewarding game loop. And the milsim genre is just waiting here for these young teenager and 20-year-old type gamers. They will be fresh meat on the front line in no time. I just think we need to hang on for another 5 to 10 years, and this genre could be the next big thing. Gone are the days of backstabbing and looting, being a general dickhead. We will usher in an era of respectful comms, teamwork, team cohesion, a sort of gaming utopia spearheaded by the milsim genre. But to get there, we gotta survive. So you gotta make money. I get it, get your bag. But don't, in the process, unwittingly destroy what makes Squad so great and different from all the other first-person shooters. And let's be serious about these emotes for a second. Everyone's saying, oh, I'm okay with microtransactions as long as it's not hot pink weapon skins and Weibo, I don't even know how to say that word, character skins. And sure, I agree wholeheartedly. But what do you think these emotes are gonna be? A simple salute, a thumbs up, maybe a wave? You know Squad players aren't going to go for freaking Fortnite dances. I highly doubt these emotes are going to be so-called grounded. Who's going to pay $5 or $10 for a wave or a thumbs up? I mean, I got 20 on a you. I think it would have been a better idea to have like real life military unit patches for the characters, maybe even decals you could put on your helicopter or tank. This is all just very strange. And for those of you that don't get that, I'd bet my left nut probably only been playing the game a year or two. Quite frankly, I'm more excited about what the modders are doing, like Karma Cut's Dynamic Direction and Steel Division. Now apparently they've run into a block with the new update, something to do with player controllers. But OWI, you need to fix that, because these modders plan on adding cooler stuff than you. Emotes, Steel Division, and Dynamic Direction, we're talking about adding fast roping out of helicopters, paradropping out of C-47s, and you're talking about sticking a thumb up my ass. All right, we're gonna wrap things up before I turn this into an angry Squad player video. If you want to add microtransactions, add them to Postscriptum, Beyond the Wire. We would gladly fork over some extra dough to save those games. Squad doesn't need saving, and I'm no genius, but this news has me in a lot of fear that you're going to do nothing at all to help Beyond the Wire in Postscriptum. And sure enough, you probably are just going to let it die. It really stinks because I was keeping the faith about that whole situation. But that's a video for another day that I surely am going to make. It'll probably be titled Dear Dear OWI. Yeah, and I know they're just publisher, but who's left? Should I title it Dear Breezewho? This is all so crazy to me. It's almost like they've pressed the panic button. Like I said earlier, we're so close to having this huge new wave of gamers join us. Like I said a million times before, when I was a kid, you were a nerd who played video games. Now you're a nerd if you don't have a positive KD in Fortnite. If anything, take 100% of the proceeds you make off these emotes, put it to marketing. And for everyone that's saying, oh, Squad's killing it, they've been pushing so much content out. Again, this was content promised 4 and 5 years ago. If anything, they are far behind. Now, I sound like a grumpy old man. Don't get me wrong. This literally is my favorite game. Well, this and Postscriptum. And I'm not jumping ship anytime soon. But I will say, I do have an eye for these newer games trying to enter the Mil-Sim arena. Especially games like Blue Drake's Operation Harsh Doorstop. Completely community made, where the passion and love of the genre is at the forefront. And then we see these games like Resolve being developed on the Unreal Engine 5, being made by Hell Let Loose players that are unhappy with the direction of the game, and rightfully so. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, definitely check out the Resolve stuff I've been putting out. There's a first look, an interview, and a weapon showcase. Check them out. That game has a lot of potential, and there's even play tests right around the corner. So yeah, the future for Mil-Sims is very bright. Just I don't think I'd want to see a future without Squad, or with Squad being the next Battlefield 2049. Ugh. Anyway, that's my TED Talk. I hope if you guys didn't at least learn something, you were at least entertained. Do subscribe to the channel while you're here. Ring that bell, because we have tons of cool Steam keys to give away. From Beach Invasion 1944, Easy Red 2, Beyond the Wire, Mud and Blood, Fire and Steel, Easy Red 2's expansion Stalingrad, and the new Military Conflict Vietnam, built on the Source engine. It's basically CSGO with a Vietnam skin. Really cool. Oh yeah, and No Plan B. And oh yeah, there's another one we got a couple Steam keys to give away. I've not yet announced. If you're new to the channel or been sucked up in a tactical vacuum, here's the directions on how to enter. Pause it if you need to. Super easy. You watch my videos and interact, I give you Steam keys. Yeah, I'm like that weed dealer that makes you come in and hang out for like an hour. I know, I'm terrible. God bless the future of this Mil-Sim genre. I'll see you boys in the next one. Y'all be good to each other.